Christmas of 1983 sold a even a time of joy and new hopes for Robert. He and his wife, Sarah, had eagerly awaited the arrival of their first child. However, life, with its cruel unpredictability, had other plans. Instead of a singular blessing, Sarah gave birth in a tiny lives, an unusual miracle that would soon transform into a heartbreaking tragedy. The hospital in their small town was filled with an astonished murmur, a mix of admiration and concern for the magnitude of such a birth. 9 girls, tiny and fragile, came into the world in a whirlwind of medical activity. Robert remembers that day with painful clarity, as if it had happened yesterday. The overflowing happiness of holding each of his daughters, wrapped in white blankets, contrasted brutally with the image of Sarah, pale and exhausted. The complications of the multiple birth were too much for her boy. A few days later, while the nurses prepared the newborns to go home, Sarah closed her eyes forever. Robert suddenly, and incomprehensibly, found himself with the titanic task of being both father and mother to 9 babies, alone. The world, which a year earlier had seemed full of light, was now tinged with perpetual grey. News of his loss and the immense challenge fast spread quickly through the community. Neighbors offered help, some with more insincerity, others with morbid curiosity. But Robert knew that, in the end, the burden was his. He looked at the cribs lined up in the small room, each with one of his daughters, and felt an overwhelming mix of love, fear, and an iron determination. Sarah was gone, but she had left a living legacy, 9 reasons to keep going, to fight, to love with every fiber of his being. That first winter was a blur of diapers, battles, and sleepless nights. Robert learned to change diapers with one hand while holding another baby with the other. He discovered the art of warming milk in the early morning and crawling several at the same time. There was no time for full mourning, for deep sorrow. Every tear was quickly dried by the urgent need of one of his little ones. He became an expert at distinguishing their cries, their individual needs, despite their young age. Each of his daughters, though identical at birth to untrained eyes, was already beginning to show glimpses of her own personality. And Robert, the widowed father, swore at Sarah's grave that he would dedicate his life to these 9 girls, to honor their mother's memory through them. It wouldn't be easy, but there was no other option. La promesa que Robert hizo en la tumba de Sarah se convirtió en la brújula de su vida. Cada día era una batalla, pero también una lección de amor incondicional. El pequeño salario que obtenía de su trabajo en la fábrica apenas cubría las necesidades básicas de 11 personas. Los pañales desechables eran un lujo inalcanzable, así que aprendió a lavar a mano montañas de pañales de tela, secándolos al sol o junto a la estufa en invierno. La comida era sencilla, guisos económicos, pan casero y, si había suerte, algo de carne. No había lujos, pero siempre había suficiente para llenar los pequeños estómagos. Las mañanas de Robert comenzaban antes del amanecer. Preparaba el desayuno para sus 9 hijas, que crecían rápido, cada una con su propia personalidad floreciendo. Vestirlas era una coreografía de paciencia y destreza. Luego, las llevaba a la escuela, a veces en el viejo coche familiar que siempre amenazaba con descomponerse, otras a pie, con las más pequeñas agarradas de su mano y las mayores ayudando a las medianas. Mientras ellas estaban en clase, él trabajaba, soñando con el momento de regresar a casa. Por las tardes, la casa se llenaba de vida y, a menudo, de caos. 9 niñas significaban 9 tareas escolares, 9 juegos diferentes, 9 discusiones por un juguete. Robert aprendió a mediar, a escuchar, a ser un juez justo y un consolador. Les leía cuentos antes de dormir, inventando historias fantásticas para compensar la ausencia de una madre. Les enseñó a cocinar, a coser un botón, a reparar una bicicleta. Les inculcó valores de honestidad, trabajo duro y, sobre todo, la importancia de cuidarse mutuamente, pues eran todo lo que tenían. Los sacrificios de Robert eran incontables. No hubo tiempo para citas, para pasatiempos, ni siquiera para un momento de paz a solas. Sus propias necesidades siempre quedaban en último lugar. Sus manos, antes suaves, se volvieron callosas por el trabajo y el cuidado constante. Su cabello, antes castaño, se salpicó de canas prematuras. Pero en sus ojos, aunque cansados, siempre brillaba una luz de amor y orgullo. Ver a sus hijas reír, aprender, crecer, era su mayor recompensa. A medida que las niñas se convertían en adolescentes, los desafíos cambiaron. Las preguntas sobre su madre se volvieron más frecuentes y dolorosas. Robert respondía con paciencia, compartiendo los recuerdos que tenía de Sarah, manteniendo viva su imagen en sus corazones. Les enseñó que el amor de una madre, aunque ausente físicamente, permanecía en cada una de ellas. A pesar de las dificultades económicas y la constante lucha por salir adelante, Robert nunca se rindió. Su amor incondicional fue el pilar que sostuvo a la familia, el motor que lo impulsó a seguir adelante, día tras día, año tras año. The years flew by, or at least that's how it seemed to Robert, immersed in the whirlwind of raising his nine daughters. One day they were little girls running around the house, the next day were teenagers with their own dreams and desires. The house, once overflowing with laughter and games, began to empty little by little. The first to leave was the eldest, Elena. She had gotten a scholarship to study at a university far from home. It was a bittersweet day for Robert. The pride felt for her was mixed with a pan of sadness as he watched her leave. He saw her off at the bus station, with a hope that tried to convey his love and concern. After Elena, it was the turn of the others. Each one found her own path, her own aspirations. Anna, with her adventurous spirit, went to work in another city. Sofia, the most artistic, moved to continue her design studies. Clara found love and started her own family in a nearby town. Then came Laura, Isabel, Maria, Paula, and Lucia. Each departure left a void in the house and in Robert's heart. He encouraged them, of course, knowing it was the right thing to do, that they should fly and build their own lives. But each farewell was a small death for him. The house, once bustling and full of life, became silent. The echo of his daughters, laughter faded, replaced by the whisper of the wind through the windows. Robert sat alone at the table, where 11 people once sat. The rooms, once filled with beds and toys, now remained empty, a constant reminder of what had been. Sundays, which used to be days of big family meals, became days of solitude. Despite the physical distance, Robert tried to stay connected. He called on the phone, sent letters when he called, asked about their lives. His daughters, for their part, also called, especially on important dates. But mother life, with its demands and fast pace, made visits increasingly sporadic. Each one was busy building her own future, raising her own children, facing her own challenges. Robert never can plan. He understood that this was life. He had dedicated every minute of his existence to them, and now it was their turn to life. But loneliness was a constant companion. He sat on the porch, watching the years go by, hoping that, one day, the house would once again be filled with the warmth and joy of his nine daughters. His love for them had not diminished one bit, in fact, the distance had made it grow, all of that now patiently awaited a return. Robert's watched straight for decades. Phone calls became more sporadic, letters less frequent. The lives of his nine daughters intertwined with his own, forming new families, facing their own challenges. Geographic distance often transformed into emotional distance. It wasn't a lack of love, but the reality of adult life. Times ask schematic and priorities change. Each of them, in her own way, was immersed in building her own world, and the old paternal home became a distant memory, a port to which they rarely returned. Among the sisters, the situation was not very different. Although they shared the extraordinary story of their birth and of being raised by a heroic father, life has scattered them. Elena, the eldest, had married and lived on the West Coast, immersed in her career. Anna traveled the world before settling in Europe. Sofia, the artist, rarely left her studio. Each of them had her own circle of friends, her own routines, her own problems. The blood ties remained, undoubtedly, but they had stretched and thinned over the years. Conversations between them were usually brief, filled with fast and superficial updates. How are you? What's new? Happy birthday. Rarely was there time to delve deeper, to share true joys or sorrows. The intimacy they had forged in childhood, forced by circumstances to be a united tribe, had faded. It was not a gradual deliberate forgetting, it was simply the passage of time and the inevitable separation that life imposes. Robert, in his solitude, clung to a few contacts. He carefully kept every photograph they sent him, every drawing from his grandchildren. Sometimes, at dusk, he would sit on the old porch and mentally review the faces of his daughters, trying to remember their voices, their laughter. He felt a deep longing for the hustle and bustle of a full house, for the simple fact of having them all under the summer roof. He never blamed them for leaving, he understood it was their destiny. But the lack of regular contact was a silent wound, Aberdeen carried with resignation. In his heart, Robert always harbored the hope of a reunion, a moment when all his girls would be together again, even if only for a brief time. It was a recurring fantasy, a dream that kept the flame alive in the darkness of his solitude. A which she could see them, not as distant adults, but as the little ones who once filled his life with purpose. Robert's hope was not in vain. One day, one of his daughters, Lucia, the youngest and perhaps the most sentimental, found herself looking through old photos. She saw a picture of her father, younger and stronger, surrounded by the 9 girls. The photo brought a lump to her throat. She realized how much time had passed and how little they all seen each other together. An idea began to germinate in her mind: what if they tried to get together, all of them, one more time? Lucia knew it would be a huge task. Her sisters were scattered around the world, each with her own life and commitments. But Christmas was approaching, and there was something magical about that time of year that often softens and shortens distances. With that idea in mind, Lucia began to make calls. The first was to Elena, the eldest sister, who had always been the most organized. Elena, at first, was skeptical. Lucia, you know how difficult it is. We all have our families, our plans. But Lucia didn't give. But don't you think that deserves it? Wouldn't you like us all to be together again, at least once? Lucia's insistence and the memory of her father, and alone, began to sink in one by one. The sisters were contacted. Anna, from Europe, initially hesitated because of the cost of the trip, but the idea of seeing her sisters and her father moved her. Sofia, the artist, saw in the reunion an opportunity for inspiration. Clara, who lived closer, offered to help with the preparations. The news spread like wildfire among them. Emails and text messages, which were once scarce, now flew with enthusiasm. They decided that their childhood home would be the perfect place for the reunion. It was the only place they all shared, the sanctuary where they had grown up under their father's unwavering love. The chosen date was, of course, Christmas Eve. It was the most propitious time of year for nostalgia and family reunion. The logistics were complicated: flights, accommodation, coordination of schedules. But the goal was clear: to surprise Robert with the presence of all his daughters. Keeping the secret was uneasy. Robert continued with his routine, oblivious to a conspiracy of love that was brewing thousands of miles away. When one of the daughters called, they tried to sound normal, avoiding any clue about the imminent arrival of all of them. The excitement and nervousness grew among them. They knew that this would not be a simple encounter, it would be a historic moment for their family, the first time in decades that the 9 sisters and their father would be together under the same roof. That year's Christmas promised to be unforgettable, not only for the lights and gifts, but for the greatest gift, their united family. Christmas Eve arrived, cold and starry, but with an unusual warmth that promised more than just the end of the year. Robert, oblivious to the commotion brewing, had prepared for a quiet, solitary dinner, like so many others in recent years. He had set a small table for one in the kitchen, with a modest plate of turkey had roasted himself. The Christmas tree, adorned with old ornaments and flickering lights, was the only witness to his routine. Meanwhile, miles away, a convoy of cars and taxis approached the small street where Robert's house stood. The sisters had coordinated their arrivals to be as simultaneous as possible, in order to maximize the surprise. Elena, the eldest, arrived in a rental car with her husband and their 2 teenage children. Anna landed at the nearest airport and was picked up by Clara, who had already arrived with her family. Sofia, with her artist's backpack, appeared at the door of the house next door, where they agreed to meet before a big moment. The sisters, reunion in the darkness of the night, was a whirlwind of hugs, muffled laughter, and silent tears. Some hadn't seen each other in over a decade. The difference is that time had forged their faces and bodies were event, but the sparkle in their eyes as they recognized each other was the same as in childhood. Their own children, some already teenagers, others small and curious, watched the scene, feeling the weight of the emotion their mothers tried to contain. Lucia, the mastermind of it all, mentally checked the list. They were all there: Elena, Anna, Sofia, Clara, Laura, Isabel, Maria, Paula, and herself. 9 women, some with their partners and children, ready to invade a house that had seen them grow up. The neighbor's house became an improvised headquarters, full of coats, suitcases, and the murmur of excited voices. The nerves were palpable. The excitement, overflowing. With a signal from Lucia, the group moved silently towards Robert's house. The Christmas lights on the porch shone with a faint welcome. The cold night air fueled the anticipation. Some of the daughters remembered the house in detail, others found it smaller or more worn than they remembered. But they all felt the same pain in their hearts at the thought of the man waiting inside, oblivious to the avalanche of love that was about to burst into his solitude. It was time for the promise of Christmas Eve to be fulfilled. The front door opened with a soft crack, a sound Robert didn't expect to hear. He was in the kitchen, about to sit down to his modest dinner. He looked up, thinking the window played a trick on the old lock. But then, a silhouette appeared in the living room doorway. Then another, and another, until the room was filled with figures. Robert froze. His eyes, accustomed to solitude, blinked to just to the unexpected crowd. He couldn't believe what they were seeing. It was them. His daughters. Each and every one of them, standing in his living room. Elena, the eldest, with that smile at Tante Change. Anna, with her elegant bearing. Sofia, with a thoughtful look. Clara, Laura, Isabel, Maria, Paula, and Lucia, the youngest, who was the first to step forward, with tears in her eyes. And silence filled the room, only broken by a choke sob from Lucia. Robert couldn't speak. He felt a lump in his throat, a mix of surprise, disbelief, and an emotion so overwhelming that he found it hard to breathe. He had dreamed of this moment, but the reality was much more powerful than he had ever imagined. His hands trembled slightly. Elena was the next to break the silence. "Dad," she said with a trembling voice, "we be come home for Christmas." That simple phrase unleashed chaos. The barriers of years of distance and formality crumbled. The sisters rushed toward Robert, surrounding him in a collective hug. Some of the granddaughters, initially shy, also joined the avalanche of affection. Robert felt the warmth of their bodies, the weight of their arms, the tears on his shoulder. It was a hug that contained decades of absence, unexpressed love, and silent longings. When they were finally able to separate a little, Robert looked at them one by one, trying to assimilate the reality. Their faces were more mature, with lines that time had drawn, but in their eyes, he saw the girl's eras. There was a mystery of pure emotion, relief, and also a hint of discomfort. So many years without seeing each other created an invisible barrier that love still had to completely break down. I can't believe it," Robert murmured, his voice cracking. You're all here?" Nervous laughter mixed with murmurs of welcome. Sons in lab and grandchildren introduced themselves, adding new faces and voices to the house. The atmosphere was electric, charged with a silent expectation. The reunion was not just overflowing joy, it was also an encounter with the past, with the adult versions of themselves, and with the cracks that time had created. Christmas had just begun, and with it, an emotional journey that everyone knew would be long and profound. La modesta mesa de la cocina de Robert no era suficiente para albergar a tantos. En un instante, las hijas movieron muebles, sacaron mesas plegables del almacén y cubrieron todo con manteles improvisados. El pavo que Robert había asado se multiplicó con los platos que cada una de ellas había traído. En poco tiempo, la casa, antes silenciosa, se llenó con el bullicio de conversaciones, risas de niños y el tintineo de los cubiertos. Se sentaron alrededor de la mesa, casi un círculo, con Robert en el centro. La conversación al principio fue un poco forzada, como si buscaran el hilo de una melodía olvidada. Pero a medida que la comida avanzaba y el vino casero fluía, la incomodidad inicial se disipó. Elena, la mayor, rompió el hielo. ¿Os acordáis cuando papá intentó hacernos un pastel de cumpleaños y acabó pareciendo un volcán de chocolate? Las risas estallaron, y Robert sonrió, recordando aquel desastre culinario. Las anécdotas empezaron a surgir una tras otra. Laura recordó cómo Robert les enseñó a montar en bicicleta, corriendo detrás de cada una hasta que aprendieron. Isabel habló de las noches en las que se colaban en la cama de su padre, buscando consuelo después de una pesadilla. Paula rememoró los disfraces de Halloween que Robert les hacía con retales de tela, siempre ingeniosos y únicos. Lucía, la más pequeña, trajo a colación las historias que su padre les contaba antes de dormir, llenas de princesas valientes y dragones amigables. Entre risas y miradas cómplices, también surgieron recuerdos más delicados. Hablaron de los primeros años sin su madre, de cómo Robert se esforzó por llenar ese vacío con su amor y su presencia constante. Sofía, con la voz suave, recordó una vez que le preguntó a su padre sobre Sara, y él, con lágrimas en los ojos, le mostró una pequeña caja de recuerdos. Nunca nos ocultó quién era nuestra madre, dijo Sofía, siempre la mantuvo viva para nosotras. Robert escuchaba, con el corazón hinchado de una emoción que apenas podía contener. Cada anécdota era un tesoro, una confirmación de que sus esfuerzos no habían sido en vano. Sus hijas recordaban los pequeños detalles, los gestos de amor que él pensó que habían pasado desapercibidos. La cena de Nochebuena se convirtió en un viaje en el tiempo, un puente entre el pasado y el presente, reconstruyendo la narrativa familiar que se había fracturado con los años. Los nietos, sentados junto a sus madres, escuchaban atentamente, absorbiendo las historias de su abuelo y sus tías, uniéndose a la rica historia de la familia. As the night progressed, the atmosphere of the dinner deepened. Chemical childhood anecdotes gave way to more serious memories, sometimes tinged with sadness, but always with an underlying current of gratitude. They spoke of the poverty they faced, of the cold winters when Robert made sure they all warm clothes, often at the expense of his own. Elena recalled the day her father worked extra shifts, to the point of exhaustion, to buy her the books she needed for college. Her voice cracked a little as she told the story. Anna, who had traveled the world, shared how the austerity of her childhood had taught her to value the essentials. We never had much money, she said, but we always had a roof over our heads. Dad made sure of that. Tears welled up in the eyes of several sisters as they nodded. Sophia, the artist, spoke of how her father's creativity in fixing broken things with whatever had inspired her own art. He always found a solution, no matter how difficult the situation, she commented, looking at Robert with admiration. There was a particularly emotional moment when Clara recalled the times she felt seriously ill as a child. Dad didn't sleep for days, she said. He would sit by my side, read me stories, and put cold compresses on my forehead. I don't know what he would have done without him. Robert, with watery eyes, just nodded, silently reliving those days of anguish. It was the first time I'd heard these stories, but hearing them from his daughters, with the perspective of adulthood, touched his soul in a different way. Laughter would erupt again as they remembered Robert's fall attempts to suit her school dresses or his impossible hairstyles before a photo. These were moments of lightness that is the emotional burden. But each laugh was tinged with the understanding that behind the edge of those efforts, there was a single father doing the impossible for his daughters. Robert, sitting at the head of the table, absorbed every word, every glance. Seeing them there, grown into strong, independent women, was the greatest reward. He realized that, despite the distances and the years, the invisible thread that bound them to him and to each other was stronger than ever. The difficulties they had overcome together, the sacrifices they had made, had not only forged them but had also created a family story of resilience and unwavering love. The table had become a sanctuary of confessions and gratitude, a place where past and present embraced in a warm Christmas hug. As Christmas Eve night deepened, and memories flowed like a river, Lucia watched her father. The joy on his face was evident, but there was also a melancholy peeking from his tired eyes. It was she who had orchestrated the reunion, and now she felt that something was still missing. For months, Lucy had been working on a secret project, a gift that transcended the material. She was the most outgoing daughter, but her heart was the most sensitive, the one most touched by her father's loneliness over the years. She had spent countless hours compiling, writing, and designing. The gift was the used from her, it was the fruit of the silent collaboration of all her sisters, though they didn't fully know it. Lucy had asked them to send her their most cherished memories, their old letters, their childhood photos with their father. When the Christmas Eve dessert, a holmade apple pie, was about to be served, Lucia stood up. The murmur of conversation stopped, and a light turned to her. Robert looked at her with curiosity, a gentle smile on his lips. Lucia, her heart pounding in her chest, cleared her throat. Dad, she began, her voice a little shaky, all of us are here today because of you. Thanks to your love, your sacrifice, everything you gave us. She paused, searching for the right words. We know we haven't always been as present as we should have been, but we want you to know that your love was never in vain. That each of us carries a little piece of you, and of Mom, in our hearts. Ten, wisa gesture, chiturnetto Elena. Elena, col jurin batsander de tri. Elena, who was already aware of Lucia's plan, stood up with a knowing smile and returned with a box carefully wrapped in Christmas paper. It was large, but its weight seemed significant. Lucia took the box and handed it to Robert. The old man looked at it with astonishment, his eyes shining with an emotion he could no longer hide. It was the moment of truth, the climax of a night full of magic and memories. The gift that would change the way her father saw himself and the legacy of his life was about to be revealed. Robert desenvolvió el papel de Navidad lentamente, sus manos aún temblaban ligeramente. Dentro, anidado entre capas de papel de seda, había un libro grande y bellamente encuadernado. No era un libro cualquiera, era un álbum hecho a mano, cubierto de cuero suave, con el título Nuestro héroe, nuestro padre, grabado en letras doradas. Lo abrió con cuidado, y la primera página reveló una fotografía descolorida de Sara, sonriendo, sosteniendo a una de sus hijas recién nacidas. Mientras pasaba las páginas, los ojos de Robert se abrieron y un jadeo escapó de sus labios. El álbum era una colección meticulosamente curada de fotografías, cartas y notas manuscritas. Cada hija había contribuido. Había fotos de cada etapa de sus vidas, desde sus primeros pasos, sus obras escolares, sus graduaciones, hasta fotos más recientes con sus propias familias. Pero no eran solo las imágenes lo que lo conmovía, eran los textos que las acompañaban. En una página, una foto descolorida del viejo coche familiar estaba pegada junto a una nota de Ana. Gracias, papá, por cada viaje a la escuela, por cada avería que arreglaste con magia. Ese coche nos llevó a nuestros sueños. En otra, una foto de él enseñando a Clara a andar en bicicleta estaba acompañada por sus palabras. Me enseñaste a levantarme cada vez que me caía, no solo de la bicicleta, sino en la vida. Sofía había dibujado un hermoso boceto de sus manos, callosas pero fuertes, con un pequeño texto. Tus manos lo hicieron todo por nosotras. Nos alimentaron, nos vistieron, nos consolaron. Lucía había compilado una serie de cartas cortas, cada una de las hermanas, expresando su más profunda gratitud y amor. La carta de Elena hablaba de los sacrificios silenciosos, las oportunidades perdidas y cómo él siempre las había puesto a ellas primero. El álbum no era solo una colección de recuerdos, era un testimonio de su vida, un espejo que reflejaba el inmenso amor y la inquebrantable devoción que había derramado en sus hijas. Era un registro tangible de cada lucha, cada lágrima, cada momento de alegría, visto a través de los ojos de aquellos a quienes había criado. La mirada de Robert se detuvo en una página con un collage de las 9 como niñas pequeñas, rodeadas de sus propias palabras, escritas años atrás en un diario que guardaba. Son mi razón de ser, mi esperanza, mi todo. La habitación estaba en silencio, llena solo del suave susurro de las páginas al pasar y los sollozos silenciosos de Robert. Las hijas lo observaban, algunas con lágrimas corriendo por sus rostros, otras con una sonrisa de complicidad. Este regalo era más de lo que habían imaginado, era un pedazo de su historia compartida, bellamente tejida, finalmente puesta en las manos de su padre. The silence in the room was almost reverential, broken only by Robert's stifled sobs. His old, wrinkled fingers caressed the photos and words in the album, as if a fear the dream would fade. When he finished turning the last page, he looked up. His eyes, once filled with the melancholy of loneliness, now shone with a mixture of tears and a joy so profound it almost fed. He couldn't say anything, his voice was broken by emotion. Instead, he slowly stood up, and his 9 daughters, like a silent chorus, approached him. This time, it was he who embraced them with a strength it seemed to possess, an embrace that united them all, sealing decades of distance and silence. Tears flowed freely, not only from Robert, but from many of the sisters, their husbands, and even some of the older grandchildren who had felt the emotional weight of the night. Elena, the eldest, was the first to speak, her voice choked. Dad, we wanted you to know that we never forgot everything you did for us. This album is just a small token of our love and gratitude. Anna, beside her, added, every sacrifice, every sleepless night, every lesson. We remember it all. The sisters looked at each other, sharing the profound emotion of the moment. For them, seeing their father so moved, so vulnerable, was a confirmation of the impact they had on his life, but also of how much it meant to them. The initial awkwardness of the reunion had completely disappeared, replaced by a visceral reconnection that seemed to have been lying dormant for years. Even the sons in lab, who had been silent witnesses to the reunion, felt the magnitude of the moment. They saw not only their wives and their in-laws, but a family forged in adversity and united by an unbreakable love. The grandchildren, although some were too young to fully understand, felt the energy of the emotion that filled the room, and clung to their mothers with a mixture of one curiosity. Robert finally found his voice, though it was little more than a whisper. My girls? My dear girls. This is the best Christmas gift I could have wished for. His gaze swept over each of their faces, lingering on Lucia, the architect of that miracle. A genuine smile, free from the sadness of loneliness, lit up his face. It was a smile they hadn't seen in a long time, a smile that promised a new beginning. The album not only documented the past, but opened up a future full of renewed bonds and shared love. The album in Robert's hands was much more than a compendium of paper and photographs, it was a symbol. It represented the long-awaited recognition for a life of unwavering devotion. Over the years, Robert had never sought applause or rewards for his sacrifices. His motivation had been pure love for his daughters and the promise made to Sarah. But now, before his eyes, was tangible proof that his effort had not gone unnoticed, that every renunciation, every sleepless night, every silent battle, had been seen, valued, and, above all, deeply appreciated. For the daughters, the creation of this album had been a cathartic process. By collecting the photos, by writing their own contributions, they had relived the memories and emotions of their childhood and youth. They had understood, with the perspective of their own adult lives, the immensity of the task their father had undertaken. What they might have taken for granted at the time, they now saw as heroic acts of selfless love. The album was, in essence, their way of saying that we saw it. We value it. We honor you. Lucia, in particular, felt at peace. The idea of this tribute had been born from her concern for her father's loneliness and the desire to bridge the gaps that time had created. Seeing Robert's reaction, she knew that the gift had fulfilled its purpose. It had healed silent wounds, affirmed the value of a decade life, and cemented the family bond in a way that words alone could not achieve. The album became the center of attention for the rest of the evening. It was passed from hand to hand, each person pointing out an image, reading a fragment, sharing an associated memory. The grandchildren, with curious eyes, listened to the stories unfolding, learning about the silent man they had as a grandfather, the pillar of their extended family. It was a lesson in family history, a transmission of a legacy of love and resilience that transcended generations. Christmas, which for Robert had long been a silent and somewhat sad celebration, was transformed. The album not only documented his past, it validated it. It told him that he had not been alone in his struggle, that the fruit of his love was a united family that, despite the distances, would always carry him in their hearts. It was the recognition of a silent hero, a father who had given everything and who, finally, received the most precious gift, the gratitude and expressed love of his nine daughters. La reunión de Navidad, iniciada por sorpresa y sellada por el sentido álbum, trascendió una mera reunión familiar. Se convirtió en una profunda sanación emocional para todos. Los años de silencio, los resentimientos tácitos, las distancias que habían crecido no solo geográficamente sino también emocionalmente, comenzaron a disolverse con cada recuerdo compartido, cada lágrima derramada, cada abrazo sincero. La casa, que alguna vez se había sentido vacía, ahora estaba llena no solo de personas, sino de un renovado sentido de pertenencia. Para Robert, fue como si le hubieran quitado un gran peso de encima. La soledad que había cargado durante tanto tiempo, el miedo silencioso de que sus inmensos esfuerzos pudieran haber sido olvidados, se desvaneció con la calidez de la presencia de sus hijas y su sentido homenaje. Se sintió visto, comprendido y profundamente amado. La tristeza por la ausencia de Sarah seguía ahí, pero ahora estaba acompañada por la vibrante alegría de su legado vivo. Para las hermanas, la reunión fue igualmente transformadora. Se dieron cuenta de cuánto se habían extrañado, no solo a su padre. El vínculo que las había unido en la infancia, forjado en el crisol único de su crianza, había estado latente pero no roto. Ahora, se reavivó con una nueva y feroz fuerza. Se prometieron no dejar pasar tanto tiempo de nuevo, hacer un esfuerzo consciente para mantenerse conectadas, no solo a través de llamadas y mensajes, sino a través de visitas regulares y experiencias compartidas. Ana, que vivía en el extranjero, habló de su intención de visitar más a menudo. Elena, la mayor, se ofreció a organizar futuras reuniones familiares, quizás cada año, o al menos cada pocos años. Sofía sugirió crear un grupo de chat familiar para compartir sus vidas diarias. Fue un compromiso colectivo, un pacto silencioso para mantener la unidad que tan milagrosamente se había restaurado. Los hijos y nietos, al presenciar este desborde emocional, absorbieron una lección vital sobre la importancia de la familia. Vieron cómo el amor, a pesar del tiempo y la distancia, podía superar cualquier obstáculo. Esta Navidad no fue solo una celebración, fue una refundación, un restablecimiento del núcleo familiar. El simple acto de reunirse había abierto las puertas a una comprensión más profunda, al perdón por las ausencias pasadas y a un compromiso renovado con un futuro compartido. La casa, antes testigo silencioso de la soledad de Robert, ahora resonaba con la promesa de futuras risas y lazos inquebrantables. Christmas Eve came to an end, but it secus guldresen at far beyond the last lights of the tree. The next day, before the first daughters began to live, the family gathered for one last breakfast together. The atmosphere was different now, imbued with a warmth and familiarity that had been absent for decades. Robert watched his daughters interact, his grandchildren play, and a peace settled in his heart. He was no longer a lonely man, he was the patriarch of a large and united family, whose love had been reaffirmed and strengthened. The goodbyes were much softer than the reunions. There were promises of more frequent visits, of weekly video calls, of an instant messaging group that had already been created. The photo album, the gift that had triggered so much emotion, remained on the living room table, as a tangible beacon of their love and shared history. Robert knew he would live through it many times, and each time, it would remind him not only of the past, but also of the promising future of his family. Robert's legacy was no longer just the story of a widowed father who has 9 daughters alone, it was the story of how unconditional love can overcome adversity, distance, and time. His daughters, now strong and independent women, carried with them not only his teachings, but also the strength of his example. Each, in her own way, would replicate that love and resilience in her own life and in her own family. The house, which once seemed like a monument to loneliness, was now a testament to perseverance. The laughter and voices of Christmas Eve had infused new life into its old walls. Robert sat on his porch, as he often did, but this time, the evening breeze brought in the memory of his daughters, laughter, the warmth of their hugs, and the promise that they would never be alone again. This Christmas had been more than a celebration, it had been a revelation. The family, scattered by the paths of life, had found their way back home, not only to the physical house, but to the heart of what united them. Robert's love, a love that had been the foundation of everything, was now recognized, celebrated, and had become a golden thread that bore the future of the family. Their story, the story of the 9 sisters and their father, would be told for generations, an eternal reminder that the true gift of life is family, united by love.